Hi there, Chris from Digix. I'm back again this week with a dev update video to demo the user interface that I've been working on. This week Anthony's been working on the smart contract interfaces for the vendors and custodians in the proof of asset system that's tied to the Digix 2.0 tokens. Basically, these interfaces allow the various different parties to perform actions such as verifying receipt, registering new assets, and redeeming them. So far, the custodian and vendor interfaces are complete, and I've been working on some user interfaces for these contracts. This is the current release for Spectrum, currently showing the networks available. I've currently got it set up to connect to Coven. People could add their own networks and connect to private networks if they wish. If we switch over to the Key Stores tab, you can see some preloaded accounts that I've created with the V3 Key Store and some offline account. And you can see the account balance is loading as it fetches from the remote node. We have Keth, the base token of the Coven testnet, as well as the DGX testnet token, which is deployed on Coven. Let's jump into the user interface that I've been working on this week. You can see the list of accounts that are available. I'm going to select the Coven deployer, which is the owner of the contracts, and has the ability to make transactions. You can also select the role. This will eventually be automatic based on the account, but for now, you can select between the two different views. First, as a vendor, let's register an asset. Now, vendors need to input the asset information for registering, which will eventually be confirmed by the custodian. First of all, they enter the SKU and the serial number of the bar. Then they will upload the proof of asset certificate. Now, this is uploaded to IPFS. Currently using the Infura IPFS service, the hash of which is saved on the Ethereum blockchain. Make sure we enter a wait and hit OK. Now you can see the transaction signing system that will be part of Spectrum. This enter password box is dynamically filled based on the type of account that's being used. If you're using a Trezor wallet or a cold storage wallet, for example, it will show different user interface depending on the type of account. And there is a very basic visualization of what's happening before you sign the transaction. So let's sign this transaction. You'll see that the transaction is almost immediately broadcast to the network and is just waiting to be mined. In Coven, this only takes 4 seconds. Now the transaction is confirmed, it's been mined in a block, and we can see the user interface specific for that transaction. And we can also pop open the Etherscan website to confirm that it's been mined. Once the transaction is confirmed, the list of items will be updated and the vendor can then view the details. All of this is now permanently recorded on the blockchain, and the IPFS hash is also there, so the documents are persistently recorded into the blockchain. If the vendor made a mistake, he can delete the registration, and a similar process will happen as before. He signs the transaction to delete the item, and the deletion was successful. The list updates and the vendor knows that this particular item is no longer available. You'll see that once he goes back, the deleted item does not appear in the queue anymore. Let's register the new asset. We'll speed this up as we've seen it already. And now that new amended asset has been created. Now if we switch to the custodian view, this is the party that holds the assets, and basically they can confirm that they've received them. So in the list of assets, they can see this new item that's been created by the vendor. Now they have the option of accepting delivery. So typically they would open the item up, check all the details, view the documentation, and sign a transaction to accept delivery of the item. Now if the details are correct, the custodian will then upload documentation to prove the receipt. and then enter the Ethereum address of the new owner. Again, they sign a transaction to confirm. The transaction gets permanently recorded on the blockchain, and the status of the asset updates to active. The other option that custodians have is to redeem the items. In the case of an internal or external redemption request, they would then process this redemption by, again, uploading documentation. Again, the documentation is uploaded to IPFS, and a transaction is signed to redeem the item. And now the status of the item is updated to reflect the redemption. So that's just a quick overview of what I've been working on this week in terms of the user interface for vendors and custodians. It's all on-chain now and working with real contracts. Again, the visual side of things will be updated in due course, but we're just focusing on functionality at this point. And now we have a fairly streamlined flow for user experience using the proof of asset protocol. Thanks for watching.